My husband just asked for a one-sided open marriage so he could sleep around while I stayed home with our kid, but he made one stupid mistake that completely blew up his secret life. We have the most aggressively normal life you can possibly imagine. We live in a quiet suburb, we have a hyperactive golden retriever, and our wild Friday nights consist of ordering extra cheese pizza and falling asleep on the sofa by 10 p.m. We were fine. Boring, but completely happy. Then, right around October, he flipped a switch. Out of nowhere, he started waking up at 5 in the morning to go for runs. He completely threw out his old dad jeans for slim fit slacks, bought expensive teeth whitener, and started keeping his cell phone face down on the nightstand, always on silent. When I first asked him about it, he said he was just hitting a mid-30s slump and wanted to feel like himself again. I actually felt proud of him. I thought, good for him for taking care of his mental health. I was exhausted from raising our 5-year-old, so I didn't push it. But last Tuesday, after our son was in bed, he poured me a tall glass of wine. He sat across from me at the kitchen island with this extremely calm, rehearsed look on his face, the exact same face he uses to negotiate a car lease. He said, I have been doing some deep reflecting on our marriage. He told me that men have a biological need for variety and that repressing his natural instincts was making him depressed. So he pitched a solution. One weekend a month, he gets a hotel in the city totally off the grid to, well, explore. I thought he was making a sick joke. I actually laughed out loud. He did not laugh. I stared at him, my heart pounding, and asked, okay, so do I get a free weekend in the city too? He shook his head, looking at me with this infuriating, condescending pity. He said, no, honey, women are wired differently. You would get emotionally attached, and it would destroy our family. Men can compartmentalize the physical from the emotional. I am doing this to save our marriage. Then came the massive red flags. He didn't just have a vague idea. He had a full-blown itinerary. He listed off his conditions. He would pay for the hotel rooms using his side hustle cash, so it wouldn't ever touch our joint checking account. No women from our zip code, no names exchanged, and absolutely no questions asked. Clean and simple. You don't come up with a highly detailed 4-point logistical plan on the spot. That takes weeks of obsessive daydreaming. I didn't argue right away. I just walked upstairs, got into bed, and stared at the ceiling, doing the math in my head. I played back the last 3 months, the running, the new clothes, the hidden phone, and then a massive light bulb went off. Back in early October, his firm hired an outside consultant to revamp their software. For the first 2 weeks, he complained about her constantly. She was too aggressive, she parked in his spot, she drank weird matcha lattes, and then, in late October, he stopped saying her name entirely. My husband is the biggest office gossip on the planet. He complains about everyone, but the woman he worked closest with every single day, she practically vanished from his vocabulary. Total silence. I had zero concrete proof, just female intuition and a sickening gut feeling. So, the next morning, as he was pouring his coffee, I walked into the kitchen and leaned against the counter. I kept my voice deadpan, completely flat. I said, I thought about your proposal, and I am willing to try it, but I have one non-negotiable rule. He exhaled this huge sigh of relief. He smiled broadly and said, anything, babe? Name it. I looked him dead in the eyes, pausing for just a second, and said, you can sleep with absolutely anyone you want, except for the new software consultant at your firm. I didn't even say her name. I just watched him. If he was innocent, he would have been thoroughly confused. He would have asked, wait, why her? Or he would have laughed in my face at how absurd that sounded. Instead, the color completely drained from his face. The coffee mug in his hand started trembling so badly, it rattled against the granite counter. He didn't defend himself. He just slumped against the fridge, staring at the floor, totally paralyzed, while our whole marriage burned to the ground in total silence.